True spirituality is about seeking the self, I suppose. Somebody asked me once, what does spirituality mean to me? I'm not a religionist. I learned about religion and I've looked at different religions, but I'm not a religionist. I like the philosophies of some of them, but do people actually live that? Some do and some don't. Most people struggle with even the word spirituality. They go, oh, I think they have to go to confession on Sunday. At the end of the day, spirituality is about seeking something within the self. And for most people, we start that journey, we don't even know we're on it quite a lot because we're wanting to understand more. And the more is what drives us. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Those first few questions. And I know when I started this journey, I had no idea what I was getting into or what that would even mean to me. So I'm just sharing thoughts and my connection with what I call that spiritual aspect. For me, it was a deepening time, an understanding of who I was, but also who I wasn't. We outgrow ourselves. I believe we truly shed skins on numerous occasions, and there are certain poignant times in our life that's kind of written for us. Teenage life, becoming a teenager, those hormones and all that sort of mental emotional cocktail. Woo! I remember that. Then there's the time you become and find yourself in love, working through the heart. What's that about? Connection. Then there's parenting, becoming a parent. Oh my God, that's a huge initiation. Then there's becoming a grandparent. During all those journeys, you might start businesses, you might change your careers, you might start a career, you might explore the world, go traveling, go to new vibrations in different cultures and experience what that's like, eat their food, find out what they are all about, how they tick. And these are the curiosities that are looming in our lives that make us go on this journey of spirituality. Who am I? Where do I fit in? What am I meant to be doing? It's about exploring one's own divinity and one's own spirit, getting in touch with the soul. For a lot of people, they don't even understand what the spirit and the soul are. I liken the spirit and the soul energetically to a few things. So to me, the spirit is our energy. It's the vehicle that we use to incarnate in. And the soul is the essence or the memory of that spirit. And like, I suppose, the memory is to the mind, the soul is to the spirit. And the two are eternally connected. Just like atoms has electrons, protons, and neutrons. So we as a spirit have a soul and a memory that carries out throughout time. For me, spirituality is about tapping into the higher self, the source that connects to that. And once you do that, you never look back. You can't live the life the same anymore. And you see things from a broader perspective, a different way, a different perception. And you act that out into your real life, into the real way, into the way that you are in the real world. Now, most people are just worried about paying the mortgage and the rent, putting food on the table, struggling with the everyday demands that life has. And we all know about those, paying the bills, the car payment, putting petrol in it. And the big pictures, the way we treat the earth and how we are to each other, kind of go unnoticed when you're struggling with the realities or the perceived realities. For me, they are all one and the same. Who I am in my living room is who I am out shopping, is who I am with my children and who I am with my friends. And that's about living life authentically, connected to all those parts of the self. I can't explain it any other way. It's called, for me, embodiment. When you embody who you truly are, you have no need to pretend. You don't have to put on a front, a face. You can just be you, and it's okay. You can have a shitty moment. You can have a really bad day. So, you'll get past that. Nothing's permanent. And that's the other thing, is understanding in the spiritual realms that nothing is permanent. Our life isn't permanent. We're born, we have a journey, and then we eventually leave. Everybody is born and everybody passes away at some point. I don't actually understand the mechanics anymore of needing to be anxious. I find that we're catering to too many emotions. And so there are certain disciplines in the spiritual journey that you need to master. And one of them is your emotions. You have to actually make them your friend and not your enemy. You have to recognize that emotions are just messages. What are they telling you? They're telling you how you feel, but is that the answer? No, it's not. It's a reaction. And then once you understand that the reaction doesn't have to own you, you can take control of your emotions. The mind, everything travels through the mind. It's like a motherboard, but it's not the boss, people. The mind isn't the boss. And so once you understand that, then you can control the mind. And there are certain disciplines and practices that you can achieve and adapt to help the mind. You've got to lug around the physical body, and it needs toileting, it needs feeding, it's got to have fuel, it needs watering, it needs rest, it needs regular sleep, it needs maintenance, And so you have to look after yourself. So there are different components to me on the spiritual journey that set it apart. And one of those components is learning about the self. Who am I? And so who am I? Well, that's what you need to go and explore. Who are you in a crisis? Who are you when you're happy? Who are you when you're sad or when you're angry? Who am I? And how do I attack the world? What am I like when things are bad? What am I like when things are good? Ask people that know you. I did that years ago. I asked some poignant people around me, including family, to give me some negative feedback and some positive feedback about what they thought I was good at, what they thought I was crap at. It was very enlightening. Trust me, if you ask the right people, you'll get really good feedback. It made me work on different things, but it also helped me embrace some of my gifts that I didn't really understand. Trust the process of personal growth. So one of the first components of spiritual development is learning about the self, self-exploration, learning about your emotions, learning how your mind ticks, what your processes are, what your triggers are, what your best things are, and areas you need to work on. But don't sit in that in judgment. Just accept it. We're all a work in progress. None of us is there yet. Everybody is learning. The second part of this for me was about understanding how I was in the world, who I am in a financial sense, who I am financially, money-wise. What's my relationship with money? What's my relationship with business? What's my relationship with how I perceive business and how I am in business? These are all questions I didn't have answers to because I hadn't explored that part of myself. But hello, I'm heading to 65 this year. Ouch. And I've had those journeys, so I have knowledge of that now. But the young don't. They have to explore these parts themselves. We can't make everything perfect for them, but we can certainly enlighten them and give them, our journey and what we did wrong. Isn't that what we do on YouTube? We explore the easiest routes, how things are done faster, quicker, better. And as a result of that, mankind's consciousness is speeding up. Hello. I love that, but it has its own pitfalls as well. We also need to explore who we are in love, what the heart wants. Never mind the mind. Did you know that your heart is actually your superpower? Nobody told me that. I had to figure that out. It's the first organ in a fetus to beat before the brain is fully formed. It has its own mind, and the heart is connected to the essence of your spirit and soul. In fact, the heart is the seat of the soul. And so as a seat of the soul, it's to your first point of reckoning. And so the place that you need to work with the most is not your mind, it's your heart. You need to expand it, expand your energy field and help your heart, because your heart then resonates out into your aura. Everybody can feel other people. We're all very empathic, some more than others. But empathicness is an aspect of our intrinsic intuitive abilities, and we pick up other people's heart vibrations when we're in their energy field. We can't help it. It's an aspect of unseen communication. It's like you can tell when there's danger. You get a vibe, you get a frequency, a vibration. Get out of here, move. The same thing happens when you feel love. It lifts you up. That's the heart in its essence. And so learning about your heart and healing your heart is a really big component of the spiritual journey. And within the heart, we can help ourselves mentally let go of the past. When we heal the heart, we learn to forgive. When we heal the heart, we learn to embrace, encompass. We learn to have harmony and balance. We seek things that make us feel joyful, blissful, happy, and content. We understand that there is a bigger picture, but that we are part of that. So learning about yourself is a huge component. And then the last part that we learn is a new one that a lot of people don't understand, but it's the unknown. Mastering the unknown. What does that mean? It means not being afraid of having a go, not being afraid of a future you don't have the answers to, trusting yourself in the unknown. Have mouth, we'll ask questions, we'll find out. I was taught that quite young. I was very adventurous. I mean, I've done things like jump out of planes, and I've been kayaking and whitewater rafting, and I did all sorts of what back in my day were considered, men things to do. But I had 4 brothers, so I grew up in that very male environment. I rode motorbikes as well as horses, and I wasn't afraid to have a go. And I was someone who liked being on my own out in the bush, and I had all those bushcrafts as a child because I grew up in the country. So I wasn't afraid of the forest. I wasn't afraid of life. And that set me up as an adult to not be afraid of business, to not be afraid to go into new territories. I've traveled the world alone. So many people won't do that. They have to have someone with them all the time. I'm not one of those people. And I'm not afraid of the unknown. In fact, I like the adventure of the unknown. And we're a world suffering so much anxiety. Now, anxiety is worrying about the future, feeling overwhelmed, feeling so sensitive you can't go out into the world. Oh my God, people, you've got to toughen up. You've got to desensitize yourself. And that's about understanding what triggers that and learning about managing your emotions, managing your feelings, and coming to terms with who you are as a sensitive being. And I know how hard that is. I'm super sensitive. Just because I'm an adventurer doesn't mean I'm not sensitive. I can pick up on a person's heart as quick as lightning. That's actually one of my superpowers. I've been a psychic since a little girl, and I understood things way before I really understood what they meant. But that doesn't make me better than, it just meant that I had a specific gift. I don't change truck tires, and I'm not a mechanic's backside. But reading people, oh yeah, that's a superpower. And some of us have it and some of us don't. The spiritual journey involves many components. Learning about your energy is a huge one. Even doing martial arts like Qigong or Tai Chi, all those kinds of things help awaken your energy, help you understand your seat of power. And there is a couple of areas. You have mental power, you have heart power, but you also have will power. Using your will, overriding other senses with your will, being willful in the way that's in service to you, not in the way that's throwing tantrums. Understanding all of this seems like a huge journey when you begin, but when I look back on what I've learned, it was fascinating. I think I enjoyed and reveled in every moment. It wasn't always easy. And there were times when I wanted to give it all away, but you know what? I just couldn't. There was this deep inner drive within me to connect, and it was the connection with other people and my need to be in humanity and in the consciousness that was humanity and express that. That's what made me a writer. That's what made me a healer and a teacher and someone who's in service to the public in many different varying ways. And so find the essence of you. If you wake up in the morning and you want to bake bread, then bake the best bread. Yum. If you wake up in the morning and you want to build bridges, go build bridges. That's your thing. If you wake up in the morning and you want to make stuff or express stuff or write, then go do what it is that's you. Some of us can't always do what we love doing as a livelihood. However, we still need to express these parts of ourselves. Finding out more about the self, that's ongoing. And I'm still here, so it's ongoing. Until I'm gone, it's ongoing. This is not going away. The journey within still have practices that give you the things that you need. For instance, be guarded as to your peace. Find that inner peace and sit with it. Lean into how to have peace. Learn how to have balance. Learn what brings you to a point of self-connection and what sees you become discombobulated, and then bring yourself back into alignment. Learn these things. Learn the ways that can see you enjoy your life to the fullest, but still pick up the pieces. I remember as a young one going out, dancing all night, drinking, having a ball, and then starting work at 6 a.m. after 2 hours sleep. I can't do that now. But I remember being like that. I remember the fun of exploring new careers. I remember the joy of traveling. And I remember the places I've gone that took my breath away, and the people that took my breath away, and the feelings and emotions that lifted me up and the ones that pulled me down. Learn all of the parameters and revel in all of it. None of it's wrong. All of it's right. There is no wrong or right way to live. There is just the experience. And that's what you take with you in your soul's memory when you eventually leave this plane. So live a good story. Be you and have fun. Okay? Be creative, be expressive, and enjoy the connections that have meaning for you. Get really good at plucking out the weeds in your life. Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's places and environments. Sometimes it's bosses and work situations. Sometimes it's just the need for being new. And don't be afraid of that. Don't get anxious about what's next. Trust the universe will turn up. I suppose spiritually, one of the things I've learned to have faith in is the universe. It isn't in the universe's interest for you to be born, for you to be here and not to be supported. And I learnt that one. And so everything I do, everything has meaning, even if I don't understand it yet. And I had to learn that. I had to lean into it and make that my friend, especially when I was alone. And I'm alone a lot. Be kind and gentle to yourself and loving as you learn, as you bump and grind in the real world. Don't beat yourself up, people. Everybody messes up. Everybody has a bad day. But tomorrow's coming. I have a favourite saying, and I wrote it once. We keep moving forward because tomorrow keeps turning up. And I have faith in that. Just like I know that the sun's going to set and the moon's going to rise, and the moon's going to set and the sun's going to rise. Just like the seasons of the earth, the leaves are going to fall off the trees, the snow's going to hit the ground, and then the sun's coming up. Everything works out in the end. We don't always have the plan. You can call it God, you can call it what you like, but there's some sort of universal force that runs through all of us, that connects us all in consciousness. And it's in our consciousness that I believe the most. I've enjoyed chatting with you today. This is Saroya Rose. Let's chat some more, maybe tomorrow or the next day.